Hello everybody, and welcome to another FAQ Monday. I am your host, Fluff, and today we are going to get to the bottom of 7 questions. And I have another, 500 more to go in my Ask FM thing. Oh man. It's all good. It's all good. No regrets. No regrets. Metal became outlawed to listen to, play, write, and record. What genre do you move to next as one of your main genres? What kind of sick, twisted world are you describing? I don't want to live in that world. Why do I have to live in that world? You live in that world. I don't want to live in that world. But if I had to choose one, it'd probably be like old classic rock, like Tom Petty, like that kind of stuff, like 70s classic rock, because that stuff is just awesome and the guitar riffs were still flying even back then. I'm stuck. I feel as though I can't excel beyond where I'm currently at. What do you recommend for branching out and moving forward? My first recommendation for branching out is listening to other kinds of music that maybe you wouldn't normally listen to in your day-to-day life. This may seem arbitrary and not that important, but it actually is on the subconscious in my experience. When you're in the car going to the grocery store, listen to a station you don't normally listen to. Listen to the rap station, listen to the pop station or top 40 station. Don't just sit there and listen to if you're a metal guitarist, don't listen to just metal. Listen to movie soundtracks or things like that. But if you're looking to expand your playing as a guitar player, get out of your comfort zone. If I wanted to expand my playing, and if I had the time to sit down and just expand my playing, I would go to the most uncomfortable place I could possibly imagine, which is like some 80s shred instructional video, honestly, because I don't do shred, and getting out of my comfort zone like that would force me to just go in a totally new direction that I would never have gone in the first place. So really, it's just all about being uncomfortable and knowing that that's what will ultimately help you grow. Hey Fluff, I'm fairly new to your channel and was wondering, why don't you shred? There's a few reasons why you don't see more shreddy stuff on the channel, and I think the main reason is because that's just not who I am as a player. I never really cared about shredding because in my mind, when I was growing up, anybody could sit down and with enough practice and enough time, I could learn how to do all sorts of crazy tapping stuff. But not everyone is a great songwriter, and I always really cared about the songwriters more so than the shredding guitar players just growing up. That's just really what appealed to me. And I loved the structure of a song and the challenges that come with writing a complete and full song, not just flashing and, doing that kind of flashy stuff. Do I wish I could shred? Absolutely, I do, of course. But I went the other way when I was younger, and it doesn't help that I started playing in the summer of 1993 when I was 13 years old, or about to turn 13 years old. And the most uncoolest thing you could possibly do at that time was bust out a huge shreddy guitar solo, because I live in the Seattle area and the grunge thing was happening, and it was all about Nirvana and that kind of stuff. So it just never happened for me. It's all good. I'll eventually get a little bit more shreddy, but I don't plan on ever doing Yngwie licks or anything like that. That just does not appeal to me on any level at all. Sorry. Logic Pro versus Pro Tools, and why? I know PT is the industry standard, but I also noticed you use Logic. There's a few reasons why I never bothered to learn Pro Tools. Most of us that don't use Pro Tools started using DAWs and recording software back a few years ago, before you could use any interface and any hardware you want with Pro Tools. It was never that way, ever, until fairly recently in the Pro Tools world. For a long time, they required you to use their interface, the Digi 001, 002, 003. And if you're going to force someone to use your hardware better be good. And it wasn't. They weren't good at all. A. B. Pro Tools was always fairly expensive, and I just, the virtual instruments for me that come with Logic are very nice to have, and I love the price of Logic. And for a long time, Pro Tools did not have the MIDI support or the third-party plugin support. It still doesn't have the third-party plugin support that a lot of people desire. And for that reason, I don't care about Pro Tools. I don't have a dog in that fight. I get everything I want out of Logic. And I also get a load of MIDI instruments and flexibility, and I can still figure out and tool around Pro Tools if I want to. I mean, it's not that different from Logic, but for day-to-day use, for me, it's just workflow-wise, Logic works. Hey Fluff, have you heard from Railhammer since they got a bit, how should I say bitchy in a nice way, nitpicky on that demo video? Personally, I don't see what they were bitching about. I thought it sounded great and gave a great representation of the pickups. Keep up the awesome vids, Fluff. For those of you who may not have followed me on Facebook and Twitter and noticed the comments in the Railhammer video that I put out a few months back, I basically posted the video and Joe Naylor, the guy who started Railhammer, hated it. He hated the sound of it, and everywhere I posted the video, he would then come in after me and say, this is not representative of my pickups and they don't sound like this. Then he would, make up some excuse. I think his main excuse was blaming the Randall Thrasher for being a finicky amp or something like that, when I know now that it was probably the guitar that sounded really, really, really thin. But people seem to love the video, which is the hilarious part. But no, I never heard from Railhammer again. Good sir. And I don't plan on returning any of their emails anyway, and I don't really care, and I'm not losing any sleep over the Railhammer debacle. As it was, people still seem to love the video, and I didn't think it was that bad, but apparently Railhammer thought it was atrocious. Actually, I know he thought it was atrocious, he told me. So, nope, it's all good. Bro, are you a fan of Deftones? If so, what's your fave album? Yes, indeed, I am. I am a huge, huge, huge Deftones fan, and I even got my first concussion at a Deftones concert, believe it or not. I saw them, I think I saw them 3 times on the Around the Fur tour, and then I saw them once on the self-titled album tour. And they have always been one of my favorite bands. I knew a gal in high school whose father worked for their record label, incidentally enough, and I got to get a copy of Around the Fur months before it was out because I was a huge Adrenaline fan, and I saw Chino come out and sing a song with Korn when I saw Korn in 1995. And so the Deftones have always been there for me, and it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey with those guys. Favorite album, man, that is so tough to pick. I would have to say maybe White Pony. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and say White Pony. Runner-up would be Around the Fur, because man, what an album. I heard you mention you have all the Mastodon albums on vinyl. Have you ever showed your turntable setup, and if not, can you? Why, yes, I can. Here it is. This is my full little teeny tiny setup in my living room. It is an Audio-Technica AT-LP 60 turntable. It's pretty basic, but it sounds amazing. And the setup I have is a good balance between sound quality and price and cost. It's pretty inexpensive. The power amp is an LP 2020A and a LePi TriPath Class T hi-fi thing. It's like $20. I'll put a link to all of this stuff in the description if you would like to buy your own. I got everything off Amazon. I usually get everything off of Amazon. That's just how I roll. And the speakers are a Mica MB42. They're just bookshelf speakers. So basically you have your record player, and then it needs an amp. So you go into the inexpensive amp that actually has a little bit of EQ controls, then you go out to your little bookshelf speakers, and voila! You have your record player to enjoy, and it is awesome, and it's legit. Don't get those cheap all-in-one, turntable radio things. Those are awful. They sound crappy. And no, just get a legit one, man. At any rate, that's all the time I got, guys. And I thank you so much for watching. If you have your own question, feel free to leave them down below in the comments, or you can go on over to my Ask FM account to ask anonymously. And until next time, I will see you next time, I think. Yeah, I don't know. See you later.